Welcome to our channel. I'm Melissa.
And I'm Sam.
And we're Full Metal Mel.
Let me bang the microphone. We've never done that properly once. Like,
No.
not one time where it wasn't completely just messed up. So today's video, I basically wanted to show what we do on, say, a Friday or Saturday night, where I end up writing a riff, usually something heavy, and then teach you how to play it, and then we make a mix. So what I did Friday before I went to Mishka's show was I programmed a drum loop and wrote a riff, and then today is the first time we've got to get back to it. Taught you the riff, and then we recorded it. When I write a riff like this, or if I write any riff, when I write any riff for us, I try to incorporate something that Melissa's never done. In this case, it was a little bit of chugging, trying to get, a little bit of, if you don't know what chugging is, a little bit of like, a little bit of muting, a little bit of chug.
Yep.
And you already know the power chords and everything. Of course, it's always difficult when you rearrange them all.
Yeah, and put everything together.
Yeah. So, what was the hardest thing for you to get this time? What was the hardest thing for you to really?
It was the chugging.
It was?
Yeah, trying to get my fingers just to go in a steady motion fast like that. I do practice, but I still need, quite a bit of practice for it to come natural instead of being so forced. So that's the most challenging for today's lesson.
Yeah, and it's a lot of wrist and
keeping it steady. Yeah, it's just a steady rhythm instead of all over the place or
Also, we were running into a little problem where you kept squealing on chord changes.
I know, we'd both stop. I could see him look over, and I'm like, what is going on? So I had to keep, I was just readjusting my fingers. I was thinking maybe I wasn't hitting it correctly or something like that. But I guess what it was that I kept lifting my fingers up, and so when I would place them back down, it would make like this squeaking noise. And so he instructed me, of course, to just keep my hands down, my fingers down, and just slide up and down the fretboard instead of picking my fingers up each time. And then that helped.
Yeah, every time that she would place her fingers down, before she got actual pressure on the chord, she would hit a harmonic. So every single chord was getting a weird harmonic.
It wasn't fitting.
Yeah. Before you were actually hitting a chord.
The note, yeah.
So every single one had like a little weird squeal to it. We figured it out. It took a minute to actually watch exactly what you were doing, and but that's a hand feel thing. That's something that just comes with experience, and
it's part of the learning process.
Yeah.
So to break it down, and then these little like pieces, just help me improve. So
and it's like doing the like sliding your fingers back and forth and getting that noise. That it takes time not to do that. It's just a feel thing. It just takes time and practice. There's no way for me to really describe how not to do it. It's just something that
practice, and listening to it and making it not sound
realizing that you're doing it,
right?
And then correcting it. However, whether it's taking your hands completely off or pushing down a little bit, muting a little more, it's a feel thing that comes with time, but you're doing great. You're figuring it out, and you're hearing the mistakes,
right? Yeah,
and then trying to correct them and trying to figure out how to make it the way you want it to sound. And I mean that's the biggest battle right there.
Right.
Is figuring out what am I messing up and
How do I fix it?
How can I fix it?
That's my big thing.
Yeah.
Just how do I fix this? Make it sound good.
The funny thing is when you want to hit a harmonic,
Yeah.
then it's way harder. But when you're trying not to,
Right.
and it's just
It just
completely
rings out.
screwing you up, yeah, and it's the loudest thing in the song all of a sudden.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
It's the one thing everybody can hear is, whoa, what was that? Other than that, you did manage to, I mean, I wouldn't say that you're a master chugger yet, but for your first introduction to it, you finally got at least a feel of it.
Yeah. Something I'll just keep practicing too, so I can.
Well,
definitely
that's
get better with it.
in your practice space.
Yeah.
In your in the spare room, just crank that distortion up and just dial your tone knob all the way down and just, and then you'll figure it out. Trust me, you'll figure it out. But yeah, it just takes a little bit of practice. Also, we went and added a second layer of music onto it where you played bass. You didn't actually play a bass. You played your guitar, but with a octave drop pedal to simulate bass.
Yep.
And that's always fun, especially you don't have to relearn anything. The simple bass lines that we're doing, it's basically filler. It's not, you're not actually playing like a bass
solo or something in there. Yeah. No.
Yeah, you're
just add that depth to it.
Yeah, just a single note. I mean, eventually, you will get to the point where you're gonna learn like a walking bass line. But for now, it was nice because we didn't have to. I mean, it only took like 2 takes.
Right, yeah.
Because you already knew exactly where the notes were.
Right.
And once I showed you that half the notes you didn't have to actually put a finger on or anything,
Right,
then it's way easier. It's a lot easier to float around the neck when you only have to hit that,
Yeah.
Other than that, I think it sounded all right for a nice heavy practice session.
Yeah.
And, what we're going to do is I'm going to edit it so that you the viewer, see us working it out. You're gonna watch us
the
working
process.
out the process. Yes, the process. Without you actually having to watch the 2.5 hours of actually teaching you in the 2 minutes that the song is, you're gonna get to see a little bit of the actual process of trying to figure it out. And sometimes where I just leave the room and let you just play it over and over and over again by yourself.
Yeah, and that helps too, because I have to hear it on my own too, what I'm doing. And,
exactly. was a lot of fun, and I hope that everybody enjoys watching. I hope to see everyone next week.
Next week, yeah.
Everybody have a fantastic week.
All right.